Aloha. You're watching Cradlepoint, part of Ericsson Threat Intelligence Hot Shots. Episode 4. I'm Peter, and as I'm always joined by our senior threat intelligence analyst, Alex Ryan. How's it going, Alex?
Hey, it's going great, Peter. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So we were on a bit of a hiatus last week due to RSA, but we're back with episode 4 this week. So what do we got that's hot, Alex? And I see here, presented by the Cradlepoint Threat Intelligence and Analyst Team. Although when I see those 4 Z's after shots, I hope we don't put our audience to sleep with this first slide.
Oh, no. This week has not disappointed with news. And, I would like to officially give a hat tip to the FBI, milady. Well done on shutting down breach forums, both the website and the Telegram channel. This is a huge blow to being able to broker payments between threat actors and people who want to pay back for being breached, wanting to pay their ransom, and then also threat actors buying and selling tools and goods and information between themselves. They typically use an intermediary broker, such as breach forums, and with FBI taking them down, that is a huge win. So really congratulations to them for that.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we all know not to celebrate too quickly because there will be others that sort of fill the gap. But, in this day and age with information security, any good news, especially with daily breaches, is always fantastic news. All right.
Super excited.
GRU, is it you?
Is it you? Okay. So what's up with GRU? So GRU is the Russian Ministry of Defense that has the threat actor groups that they sponsor sort of under. So they're sort of one of the leading groups in Russia that sponsors these groups and tells them what their target scope is, sort of things that they want to do in order to forward the Russian political and military agendas, right? So what has happened is we're seeing a real increasing pace with both advanced techniques, the number of campaigns, and then also the target scope. So earlier this year, in the first quarter, we saw U.S. water utilities and utilities in the UK being compromised by Russian state-sponsored threat actors. So we want to really understand that the techniques that this group has honed in the Ukraine war for the past 2 years is now being transferred in 2 ways. First is to other cyber criminal gangs that are not associated, right, that are just sort of going off and doing their own agenda. Those tools are being made available to them. But also the scope of the targets is expanding, right? So it's not just Ukraine anymore. As we can see with these attacks coming in, they are becoming more West-focused, and especially as political tensions rise, we'll begin to see that happen. So Mandiant actually this week released a report where they upgraded Sandworm, which is one of these Russian state-sponsored threat actors, and moved them into an official APT status. They're now APT44. And Mandiant published an amazing playbook talking about the techniques that Sandworm has used in the past so that we can ready our defenders for what needs to happen to defend against these kinds of attacks. And so we have those techniques listed there.
Nice. Yeah. Advanced and persistent for sure. And I see this 0-day vulnerabilities Pwn2Own. I was reading, I think it was earlier this week, if I'm not mistaken, that there was some Microsoft news or some vulnerabilities that were uncovered and they've been around for a while.
Yeah, so Pwn2Own is a conference where security researchers get together, and it was in March of this year. And those researchers show off the different vulnerabilities that they've discovered. And there were 7 vulnerabilities for Microsoft Windows operating systems that are privilege escalation vulnerabilities that have not been patched. So Microsoft has been aware of them since March, and in this latest patch cycle, there still was not a patching of those vulnerabilities, which, you know, the Russians are coming, the Chinese are coming, and we're like got the drawbridge down. So yeah, real hopes for the future here. So really on that, reduce your attack surface that is out on the internet, have an EDR, right, on your endpoints. There's going to be some pretty effective defenses against those. Keep your web servers up to date, because internet-facing web servers is another great vector for attack.
Yeah, and then obviously make sure you have a good, clean backup somewhere, because that's been one of the most effective ways to at least, you know, fight back against ransomware, is having a truly clean backup to be able to restore yourself.
That's an amazing point. Actually, I forgot this. Sandworm, they do wipers, right? So they don't want to encrypt and play ransomware games. They just want to take you down. So, they will, if they detect that you've detected them, they will wipe your infrastructure. So you're 100% correct about offline backups, my friends. Offline, cold store. Just so that, exactly as you say, you can come back online faster.
Yeah, clean. And you don't necessarily need Iron Mountain. You know, by the way, as an offshoot, the original recording, like the tapes and stuff of Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train, is stored in Iron Mountain. So there's your music security tip of the day. Let's move on a little bit. So D-Link.
D-Link, my friend, what is going on? Yeah, it's them again. So this week, there were 2 new vulnerabilities for D-Link routers put into the KEV, CIS's known exploited vulnerabilities list. So these are pretty high impact, right? You can make configuration changes if you hijack a session. You can see the username and password for that device if you get to a specific page, the get config page. So these are not high complexity attacks, and especially if you have the admin page open on the internet for these devices, which, you know, some of us have to administer our devices that way, is, you know, folks are going to be hammering on this because obviously it's out in the wild being exploited, and there are POCs out there. So what to do about this D-Link stuff, because D-Link, a lot of these D-Link vulnerabilities are in routers that are end of life, out of service. So you literally cannot get patches. So the only really effective way to do this is to limit your attack surface and limit the access to these devices. So, replace those D-Links. That's all you've really got. But if you have to have them up, really try and put them, off of the internet and even internally, right? Because you've got insider threats. Just make sure that you limit internal access as well.
For sure. And I just about a week ago, I was talking about the cuttlefish vulnerabilities, or more like attacks that are targeting these Soho routers. But it's just good, clean hygiene, not only for organizations, but just us at home with our edge devices, to make sure they're up to date. They got the patches, changing your admin passwords. I can't tell you how many 10 dots and 192, 168 save settings I have from devices over the years. So big thing right there, for sure. Impacts a lot of organizations. Fascinating stuff. That's going to be loud on the mic, that clap right there. I know it is, because I've done it before.
Well, see, nobody went to sleep now. You were worried about that with the 4 Z's. That's
right.
They're up now.
That's an action shot right there. So right on. Way to close out episode 4, Alex. Always appreciate your insights. And if you folks like content like this, you know what to do. Hit the like, the share, the subscribe. If you'd like to learn more about Cradlepoint, or specifically about our threat intelligence reports. We put a quarterly report out every quarter, duh. And Alex and her team also produces weekly and monthly, right? Alex,
Yes.
just, reports that, kind of get you the insight stuff you can take action on, and just other stuff to be aware of, because there's a lot of nasties out there. All right, closing it out for episode 4 of our Threat Intelligence Hot Shots.
Oh, Peter, I have one more thing before we close. We have a competition, okay? Name this movie. You ready?
Okay.
Drago! Anybody?
Drop it in the comments. We'll certainly let you know if you're correct or not, although the expressive way that she said the name might be the tip-off of the week. For my good friend Alex, I'm Peter, and we're with Cradlepoint. Thanks for watching.
Bye.